Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at the global landscape of electric vehicles. It's pretty fascinating stuff, and we've got some sources here that highlight some interesting trends.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing that really jumps out is just how differently various countries are approaching this whole transition to electric. It's not just about the technology itself.
Right. It's a whole bunch of factors all coming together, like
Yeah.
government policies, consumer attitudes, infrastructure, you name it.
Exactly.
But one thing all our sources seem to agree on is that China is really in the driver's seat when it comes to EVs. They're exceeding all kinds of
Yeah,
projections.
their growth is really remarkable.
Like they're on track to sell something like 12 million electric vehicles in 2025,
Wow.
which would actually put them ahead of their sales for traditional gasoline cars. I mean, that's a huge shift.
Yeah.
So what's fueling this EV explosion in China? What do you think?
Well, I think a big part of it is the government's really been proactive. They've got these substantial subsidies and tax breaks, which make EVs way more appealing to buyers.
Makes sense.
Plus, they've invested heavily in building out this massive charging infrastructure.
Yeah, I was reading about that. It's pretty impressive.
I mean, just imagine this. They already have over 11 million charging stations across the country,
11 million. That's incredible.
more than the rest of the world combined.
Wow. That's really setting them up for success. It's like they're building a whole new ecosystem for these EVs to thrive in.
Yeah, exactly. And we can't forget about the Chinese manufacturers themselves. They've been really aggressive in developing and producing a whole range of EVs at prices that are actually competitive.
So they're making them accessible to a much wider range of people.
Exactly. So you've got this kind of perfect storm of government support, tons of charging stations and EVs that are actually affordable. No wonder they're pulling ahead.
It's a powerful combination for sure.
Yeah.
So China's leading the charge. But what about other parts of the world? How does Europe compare?
Well, Europe's a bit of a mixed bag. Some countries are moving really quickly while others are lagging behind.
Yeah, our sources definitely highlight that contrast.
But the real standout success story in Europe has got to be Norway.
Norway. Yeah, they're really leading the pack there.
They've achieved this amazing 97.5% penetration rate for new EV registrations.
97.5%. That's almost every new car sold.
Yeah, it's like they're saying goodbye to gas guzzlers for good.
So what's Norway's secret sauce? What are they doing that's driving this incredible success?
Well, again, it's a combination of factors. The Norwegian government's been super supportive, offering these generous incentives to EV buyers. And they've also made it a priority to build out a really comprehensive charging network.
So no range anxiety there.
Right. And there's also this sense that Norwegians are just really on board with eco-friendly solutions.
It definitely helps.
So you put it all together, and it's like a recipe for EV success. Smart policies, convenient infrastructure, and citizens who are ready to embrace the change.
It sounds like a winning formula. But then we have a country like Italy, where EV adoption seems to be stuck in the slow lane.
Yeah, Italy's definitely facing some challenges.
Our sources indicate that their EV penetration rate for new car sales is only about 2.94%.
Yeah, that's a huge difference compared to China or even Norway.
So what's holding Italy back? Why are they having so much trouble embracing EVs?
Well, there are probably a few reasons at play. The cost of EVs in Italy is still a big barrier for a lot of people.
Especially compared to traditional gasoline cars.
Right. And the charging infrastructure, while it's growing, is still not as widespread as in places like Norway. So people might be worried about running out of charge.
That range anxiety again.
Exactly. And then there might also be some cultural factors or just habits that are slowing things down.
It's interesting how all these different factors come into play. So we've got China racing ahead, Norway setting the standard, and Italy struggling to keep up. It's a fascinating global snapshot.
Yeah.
But now I'm curious, how does the U.S. fit into all of this? A country that's known for its love affair with cars.
The U.S. is an interesting one, because on the one hand, you've got Tesla, right? One of the biggest names in EVs worldwide,
Right.
really pushing the boundaries.
Absolutely. And they're based right here in the U.S.
Exactly. But then when you look at the overall adoption rates, it's like they haven't quite caught up to places like China or even parts of Europe.
Yeah, it's a bit of a puzzle, isn't it?
It is.
Because you'd think with a company like Tesla leading the way, the U.S. would be further along.
Yeah.
But our sources point to a couple of things that seem to be holding them back.
Like what?
Well, one of the big ones is that range anxiety we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. The fear of running out of juice before you can find a place to charge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's understandable, though, right? Especially in the U.S. where people are used to driving long distances.
Yeah, you've got those wide open spaces, and road trips are a big part of the culture.
Exactly. So I think for a lot of people, the idea of switching to an EV still feels a little bit risky.
But here's the thing, though. The U.S. is actually making some pretty big strides in building out its charging infrastructure.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah, there are new charging stations popping up all over the place, along highways and cities, even in more rural areas.
That's encouraging.
And the technology itself is getting better all the time, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Newer EV models have longer ranges and they can charge faster.
Exactly. It's kind of like what happened with cell phones. Remember how they used to die after like an hour?
I know, right? Now you can go for days without charging some of them.
It's amazing. And it seems like EVs are on a similar track.
So maybe that range anxiety will start to fade as the technology keeps improving.
I think so. As batteries get better and charging gets faster, more and more people will feel comfortable making the switch.
It makes sense. So the U.S. is moving in the right direction, even if it's not quite as fast as some other places. Are there any other challenges or opportunities that you think are specific to the U.S. market?
Well, one thing that comes to mind is just how diverse the U.S. is. You've got different climates, driving habits, preferences all across the country.
That's true. It's a huge concern.
Exactly. So what works in California might not work in, say, Montana.
Right. It's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
Yeah, exactly. So I think automakers and policymakers need to be really mindful of those regional differences when they're developing their strategies.
It's about tailoring the approach to fit the specific needs of each area.
Yeah, I think that's key to success in the U.S. market.
Hmm.
So we've got China surging ahead, Europe with its mix of leaders and laggards, the U.S. steadily making progress. But what about the rest of the world? Are there any other regions that are worth keeping an eye on in this whole EV revolution?
That's a great question. Because it's easy to get caught up in what's happening in those big markets. But there are definitely other places that are making moves in the EV space.
Absolutely. Like India, for example.
India.
Oh, yeah.
That's an interesting one.
Huge population, rapidly growing middle class. I mean, they have the potential to become a major player in the EV market.
It's like they're at this tipping point, aren't they?
Exactly. They're on the verge of some major changes.
So what factors do you think are shaping India's EV trajectory?
Well, like a lot of developing nations, they've got some unique challenges. Their existing infrastructure might need some serious upgrades to support widespread EV adoption.
That makes sense.
And then there's the affordability factor. EVs are still pretty expensive for a lot of people in India.
Right.
But on the flip side, the Indian government is really committed to promoting EVs. They've set some pretty ambitious targets for electrification in the coming years.
So they're pushing for change from the top down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a wait-and-see situation right now. But India is definitely a market to watch. It could be a game changer.
It's fascinating to see how this is playing out all over the world. You've got these different countries with their unique challenges and opportunities. But the overall trend is clear. The electric revolution is happening.
It really is. The shift towards electric mobility is picking up speed faster than a lot of people predicted. And it's not just about the car industry itself. It's going to have ripple effects on everything. Well, the environment, for one thing. Obviously, EVs are much better for the planet than gas guzzlers. And then there's energy consumption. We'll be relying less on fossil fuels. And even urban planning could be affected as we rethink how our cities function with more EVs on the road.
It's like we're on the cusp of a major societal shift.
I think so. It's a really exciting time to be following this. But with all this talk about the big picture, it's easy to lose sight of the individual experience. So let's bring it back down to earth for a minute. What are some of the tangible benefits that someone might notice if they switch to an EV? I think one of the biggest things people notice right away is just how convenient it is. No more gas stations. You just plug in at home overnight and you're good to go.
Yeah, that's a huge plus. No more detours, no more fumes. And of course, you're reducing your reliance on fossil fuels.
Yeah.
So it's a win for the environment, too.
Absolutely. And then there's the driving experience itself. EVs are known for being really smooth and quiet.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
No more noisy engine.
Exactly. It's a much more peaceful ride.
And the acceleration can be pretty impressive, too, right?
Oh, yeah. Electric motors give you instant torque, so you get that really quick, responsive acceleration. It's actually quite a bit of fun to drive.
So it sounds like there's a lot to like about EVs. Convenience, environmental benefits, a smooth, quiet ride, and even a little bit of a thrill factor.
Definitely. And as the technology continues to evolve, I think we can expect even more benefits and innovations down the road.
It's exciting to think about what the future holds. But let's zoom out for a second and think about the big picture.
Yeah.
We've been talking a lot about specific countries and their EV adoption rates. But what does all this mean for the future of transportation on a global scale? Do you think EVs will eventually become the dominant mode of transportation? Or will we see a mix of different technologies?
That's the big question, isn't it? I mean, EVs are definitely gaining traction, but I don't think it's going to be a winner-take-all situation. We're also seeing some really interesting developments in other areas, like hydrogen fuel cell technology, for example.
Right, and autonomous driving. That could really shake things up, too.
Absolutely. So I think the future of transportation is going to be a lot more diverse. It'll be EVs for sure, but also self-driving cars, new mobility solutions, and maybe even some things we haven't even thought of yet.
It's like we're at this crossroads with all these different paths leading towards the future,
Yeah,
and it's still unclear which one will be the most successful.
exactly. And I think that's what makes it so exciting. It's a really dynamic and evolving landscape.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, from China's EV boom to Norway's electric utopia, from the challenges facing the U.S. to the potential of India's emerging market. It's been a fascinating journey.
It really has. We've seen how this electric revolution is playing out all over the world, with each region facing its own unique set of hurdles and opportunities.
But one thing's for sure, the automotive industry is undergoing a major transformation, and it's going to be fascinating to see how it all unfolds in the years to come.
Absolutely. I think we're just at the beginning of this story.
Well, on that note, we'd like to thank you all for joining us on this electrifying exploration of the global EV landscape. We hope you found it insightful. And if you did, be sure to give us a like and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the world of technology and innovation. Until next time, stay curious.